It all started back in 2004. We knew that God wanted to do something special here in Brenham. It was time to be obedient to that calling. The first thing we had to do was find somewhere to meet. If you've ever driven down Highway 36, you might have noticed the little chapel at the State Supported Living Center. That's where it all started. Each Saturday evening, we would unload all the equipment, set up our kids' church classrooms, the nursery, the sound system, all of the things, and then have church together. Saturday nights aren't always the easiest sell for a church service, but we made it work. By the end of the night, our kids would be stretched out asleep on the chairs while we packed everything back up and loaded the trailer again. After about a year, we knew it was time for a permanent home. We found an office building on Clinton Street, just past downtown, and worked hard to turn it into a church. It was so nice to finally meet on Sunday mornings. We had more space for kids' church, and most importantly, we did not have to set up each week. Soon, our church family began to grow. At that time, we were still called Victory Family Fellowship. Clinton Street became our home for 8 years, and we saw God move in so many ways. But the location always felt a little hidden. Whenever we told people where the church was, they say, "Where?" Eventually, it became clear that God was calling us to take another step of faith. We knew it was time to sell our property and start praying about where to go next. We tossed around a few ideas, maybe a school, maybe an event center, but nothing felt quite right. Then someone suggested the movie theater. Church at the movies is more mainstream now, but at the time, that sounded a little crazy. People would ask, "You're selling your building to meet in a movie theater? And you're going to serve popcorn?" I don't think Jesus wants us eating popcorn on Sunday morning. But we knew God was opening the door, and we stepped through it.
You know, a lot of times people ask us, how did you guys even come across this piece of property? You know, because it wasn't listed, it wasn't on the market, it wasn't for sale or anything like that. And it all started on Google Earth. We were literally looking at that particular area of town and just kind of looking in that location, came across this corner lot, this piece of property, and thought to ourselves, wow, this has great opportunity, you know, for a church over there. Had no idea who owned the property or any of the details or anything like that, but began to just say, what do we need to do now? Let's move forward and try to take some steps here. We literally picked up the phone, cold call, reached out to the landowner and asked them, "Sir, are you willing to sell this piece of property?" That's where it all began. And the rest is history. He said yes. We moved forward with purchasing the property, paid for it in cash back in 2020, and that's where this building project really was birthed and started. And so we don't chalk any of that up to coincidence. You know, the whole process of us, finding this piece of property, being led to this location, we believe is all appointed by the Lord, and that God led us to this particular spot for this particular time. And so only God can write a story like that.
Now God has taken us from a little hidden brick building to a movie theater to now finally a beautiful property located on the upcoming side of town where there aren't many churches. With all the new homes being built near this location, we're going to be in a place with a lot of opportunity to reach new people who are moving to the area. God's hand has been so clear in this process, and we know we are right where He wants us to be. So why build now? Since 2021, Velocity has grown over 200%. Our services are maxing out. Our kids' services have grown past our capacity. God is doing something in Velocity Church, and we want to be faithful to His call. The next step is for us to boldly step out and plant roots with our own church home. This is more than a building project, it's a faith project. It's about creating a permanent home where God can continue to change lives. For this to become reality, it's going to take all of us stepping out in faith together. We're asking you to pray, believe, and partner with us as we rise and build. Velocity Church, it's time to go from portable to permanent. It's time to rise and build.